Hola y buenos días. Soy el señor Morris. Soy el maestro de español. ¿Cómo están? Today, we'll review the things that we were talking about last class and talk about some other uses of plants. Pero primero vamos a cantar nuestra canción de saludos. Canten conmigo. Buenos días, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Muy bien, gracias, muy bien, gracias. ¿Y usted? ¿Y usted? Good morning, how are you? How are you? Very well, I thank you, very well, I thank you. And you, and you. Muy bien. Well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and get started by talking about some of the things that we were looking at last class, and let's start off with this. Esta es de las plantas que se comen, sí o no. Let's see. No, muy bien. Esta es de las plantas que no se comen. Que no se comen. You don't eat this type of plant, do you? Matter of fact, you probably shouldn't because it might make you sick. How about these? Estas frutas. Estas frutas. Las frutas son partes de la planta que sí se comen o que no se comen. Que sí se comen. That's right. Muy bien, las frutas son partes de la planta que sí se comen. You eat this part of the plant, don't you? Sure you do. Well, let's look at these over here. Estas verduras. Estas verduras. ¿Las verduras son partes de la planta que se comen? ¿Sí o no? What do you think? ¿Sí o no? Do you eat this? Muy bien, sí. Las verduras son partes de la planta que sí se comen. Yeah, you do eat this part of the plant, don't you? Yeah. All right. Well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and review the fruits and vegetables that we talked about last class. Do you remember those? We started off with these. Do you remember what these are called? Las frutas. Las frutas. Right? And that sounds kind of like fruits. So that makes it pretty easy. Let's look at this one. Do you remember what this one was called? This was la manzana. Can everyone say that? La manzana. All right. How about this one? It's almost the same as the color, isn't it? The color is anaranjada or anaranjado, and the fruit is la naranja. La naranja. Yeah. How about this one? Well, this one is called el plátano. El plátano. Okay. But sometimes you'll see this one called banana. Banana. Right. What were these called? They're not frutas, they are las verduras. Las verduras. Las verduras, that's right. What is this one called? Do you remember this one? This is called zanahoria. Zanahoria. There you go. Can you say that? Zanahoria. And again, you hear the H, we don't pronounce that, do we? La zanahoria. And how about this? Well, this is lettuce, in case you didn't recognize it. Yeah, I'm not the greatest artist around here. And in Spanish, this is called la lechuga. La lechuga. All right. And I got one more here. And remember, you should remember what this one is. Because remember, it's not your father. It's not papa. This is la papa. La papa. Muy bien. Well, there's something else very important besides food that we get from plants. Do you know what that? Did you know that many medicines that you take when you're sick come from plants? Yeah, like this. Medicina. Medicina. And now you should only take that when you're sick, right? La medicina viene de las plantas. It comes from plants. In many Spanish-speaking countries, people use herbs called hierbas in Spanish to make tea or té. Té is how they say tea. Okay. And these are often used for medicine or what they call medicina. Medicina. Well, I brought in a couple to show you here. Let me go ahead and show you. One of the first ones I brought is this. This one's pretty well known. It's called té de manzanilla, or what we call in English chamomile tea. Okay? And this is good for your stomach and things. If you're ever sick, you might use some of that. And this, I just got out of my yard this morning. This is mint. And this grows in the backyard of my house. And it makes a real good tea. In Spanish, it's called hierba buena. Hierba buena, which means good herb. I tell you what, all they have to do when they're doing this is they'll take a teapot, and I went ahead and put some of my chamomile into a little tea ball. And I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to add some hot water. I'm going to make some chamomile tea. It's going to help settle my stomach a little bit this morning. Yeah, just add some hot water, and then we're going to let it soak for a little while, or steep. Well, I tell you what, while our tea is brewing, we're going to focus once more on one part of the plant, and that part is la flor. La flor. Do you remember what that part is? The flower. This is an important part of the plant in many Spanish-speaking countries. In the past, when only Native Americans lived in many of the Spanish-speaking countries here in the Western Hemisphere, the flower was considered very special and sacred. Today, we can see this reflected in many of the handicrafts that are created in those countries. Let's have a look at how people in Spanish-speaking countries create beautiful things with la flor. La flor, the flower, and its many images hold an important place in the lives and culture of many Spanish-speaking people. Flowers are seen wherever they can occur, from clothing and textiles to painting and pottery. See how many ways you can find flowers and flower patterns used in the images in this video.
Indio y naturaleza son símbolo de las Américas. Nace una nueva generación del vientre de las Américas. Agradecemos de corazón a los primeros de Américas que protegieron con amor el futuro de Américas. Huecane, Juanita, sí, papá, yo cosa matizan. Ingueto, Netiu, Tlahuica, dos cuales que no chalizan. Ashkan, Cacatica, aquí cuali wishinko vayan. Chinach tocato tlehuilpa, que si chalita mahuispoltic.
América Latina, tú eres una flor. Latin America, you are a flower. If any of you have ever traveled down into Mexico or Central or South America or to Spain, you may have gotten some things that have the flower design on them. Look and see what you've got, and I bet that you'll find that you may have something like what we saw in this video. Well, let's go ahead and look at today's activity sheet. It's a poem that says, friendship is a shower of precious flowers. Now, if you have some good friends, you probably understand what this poem is saying. Okay, let's go ahead and start by putting your name up at the top of the page. Voy a escribir mi nombre. Roberto, soy yo. And this is a Nahuatl poem. And Nahuatl is the language that the Aztecs spoke before the Spaniards arrived. And this is just a fragment of a Nahuatl poem translated into Spanish. Okay? And it says, La amistad es lluvia de flores preciosas. And that means the friendship is a rain of flowers precious. Or friendship is a rain of precious flowers. Yeah. What I'd like you to do on this is to go ahead and copy over the letters. So let's go ahead and do that. Try saying the letters, if you can, in Spanish. L, A, M, I, S, T, A, D. And this is la amistad. And that's the friendship. E, S, S means is. Ella. Now the ella looks like two of our L's put together. Ella, U, B. I, A. Es lluvia is a shower. De, day of. F, L, O, R, E, S. Flores, and that's plural for flor or flower, flores, so flowers. P, R, E, C, I, O, S, A, S, punto, preciosas. La amistad es lluvia de flores preciosas. And if you'd like to, you can go ahead and color the different flower designs that we've put around on this sheet. Okay, and you can make that real pretty. You can hang that up on your wall, or if you have a best friend, you can even give that to your best friend. Okay. Ahora, el repaso. Well, today we talked about how plants are used as hierbas, especially those that are used to make té para medicina. Tea for medicine. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and see how our tea turned out over here. I've got my chamomile tea soaking here. I'm going to take my ball out. Oh, did you notice on my cups? Yeah, you can see right there, they have images of plants right there. Yeah, that's a cactus plant, isn't it? Can you see it? There you go. With the flowers on the top. And I got these cups right down near Mazatlan, so this is pretty common. Well, let's see how this tea turned out here. Got my chamomile tea, and this is really good for doing, for stomach upset and things. So let's see. Ooh, it smells really good. And it doesn't taste bad. It's actually pretty good. Teas like these are used when people have upset stomachs, especially young kids. They'll make tea like this and cool it off and give it to them in bottles to take. Yeah, and this is common even here in the United States, because I know that when I was a kid, a lot of times we'd drink chamomile tea. There are other teas that you can find, like the mint that I found in my yard, or if you go to a store, you may be surprised at the variety of herbs and teas that they have available, even in your own neighborhood. Yeah, so you guys might want to do some study into this, find out what some of the different things do, and maybe even try making some in your class. But remember, if you're going to be heating up water to make tea with, make sure that you have an adult there with you, your teacher or a parent or someone responsible, because we don't want anybody getting burned. But you might want to try some of the tea. It's actually very good. And the mint is really good. I've had that. Well, let's see. We talked about the té. We also looked at some of the artistic uses of plants, like my cup and in the video. Pero ahora es hora de la despedida. Now, next lesson, we're going to take a look at even more things that we get from plants, and we'll even be doing some cooking. So you won't want to miss that one. It's a Si Señor Morris cooking, all right? Pero ahora vamos a cantar la canción de despedida. Canten conmigo. Adiós, queridos amigos, que les vaya muy, muy bien. Adiós, queridos amigos, y cuídense también. All right. You guys look for flower images around your school and around your house. See what you can find. Try some experiments. Try to learn about some teas. Ask your parents at home or your grandparents if they ever used teas or other herbs to cure themselves around the house. You might be surprised what you find out. Until our next class, adios.